Do you live a life full of instant gratification where you wake up, chase your instant pleasures, indulge in whatever is on your mind? Or do you live a life of delayed gratification where you wake up and you might not feel like doing something, but you do it regardless of how you feel to reap the benefit of engaging in that activity? Basically, do you wake up and chase your instant pleasures or instant desires? Or do you wake up and do what you're supposed to do? Delayed gratification, it make your life better for your future self by sacrificing the now. Before I started prioritizing delayed gratification, I lived a very shitty life. Now, compared to people going through actual suffering, not self-induced suffering, I probably lived a pretty easy life. But from my experience in my head, it seemed so hard and just like, what was the point of life? The only activity that I could even remotely say I was doing was fitness, and that was a new habit of mine. I would watch porn, I would smoke, I would drink. I wouldn't focus in school, so I wasn't learning anything. I would hang out with people who weren't really good for me. I would chase things that led to no benefit, just indulging in my instant pleasures. Whatever I woke up and I felt like doing, I would do. And once I figured out about self-improvement and the movement, I started prioritizing delayed gratification over instant gratification. I stopped indulging in my instant pleasures, and that's when life truly became pleasurable. Once I started practicing the good habits over the bad habits, for instance, meditation, journaling, working out, eating right, focusing on building myself, focusing on learning, focusing on portraying my ideas in a way that others can understand, like this video, I started to see massive benefits, not only in those areas, but just in my life as a whole. Things started feeling better, and I want the same for you. I want you to go from in that mental rut, that bad mental state, having negative thoughts constantly, your mind constantly ruminating on what pleasure can I have next, more, to a life of what can I sacrifice next? How can I push myself harder to be a better person? Because that is when you will find true pleasure. Once you stop chasing instant pleasures, your life truly becomes pleasurable. And the reason it becomes pleasurable is because it becomes purposeful. When you chase instant pleasures, your purpose isn't anything but to consume and indulge. When you actually delay gratification, you add more purpose to your life. You add more reason to be. By only chasing instant pleasures, all you can do is chase, and all you can do is absorb. You can't really output anything besides negativity because you don't have any positive inputs. By stopping yourself from the baseline being indulging in instant pleasures, you start delaying gratification, taking in positive inputs, therefore having a positive output on the world. I'm gonna say this again. Once you stop chasing instant pleasures, your life truly becomes pleasurable, and not in the leisurely sense, but in the best sense of pleasure that you can feel. The pleasure that is consistent. When you're chasing instant things, that pleasure is not consistent. And if you know anything on dopamine, it operates on a baseline. This is your tonic level of dopamine. Once you get a phasic spike, which it just goes up, imagine this is your tonic level, it'll go up, and then it'll come back down. But when it comes back down, it goes beneath your baseline. So by chasing that happiness, you end up sadder than before. Newton's third law, equal and opposite reactions. The same thing is true on the other end. You delay gratification, you go down from your baseline. Then you go up and you start feeling better, and your baseline actually gets higher from delaying gratification and avoiding instant pleasures, because instant pleasures will lower your baseline. This is also why we get desensitized to certain things like drugs or porn. So you keep indulging, it just keeps going down and down and down. And then that original pleasure that you get, you don't even get it anymore. You're just trying to get back to baseline, which you would never get by continuing to indulge in that activity. Pleasurable activity, instant gratification goes up, it goes down. But as this comes down, your normal happiness goes down. Dopamine is also responsible for driving motivation, so your life goes down. Like I said, Newton's third law, equal and opposite reaction, same thing on the other end. You delay gratification, feels bad in the moment, but then your dopamine goes up, your drive and motivation goes up, your happiness level goes up, and your life goes up with that, because based off your new neurochemical baseline from constantly delaying gratification, you will be more likely to delay gratification because you have more dopamine to push yourself to delay gratification. So I stated the benefits of this enough and why you should stop chasing instant pleasures. And if you're logical, you understand, all right, instant pleasures are bad for me. How can I avoid that? What are some tips to not chase instant pleasures and to start prioritizing delayed gratification over the instant gratification? So let me give that to you. The first tip to stop chasing and indulging in instant pleasures is to find joy in pushing yourself. Now, it's easy to find instant joy in things that give you instant dopamine, but the reward center in our brain also allows us to find joy in pushing ourselves in pursuit of a goal. And this gets easier the more you practice it, like with everything. For instance, when I work out, sometimes I don't want to. That's obvious. But I find joy in the fact that even when I don't want to, I go and do it. Because after I know I'm gonna feel great, and in the process, it makes me feel great because I know that I'm pushing myself. I'm like, all right, I don't wanna do this. How many people don't wanna do this? Okay. And how many people, even if they're consistently working out, if they didn't wanna do it, they wouldn't do it. So if I'm pushing myself and I'm becoming the best version of myself possible, I know that not only is putting me ahead, but it's also making me better. So you need to find joy in pushing yourself and find joy in the process of being better. You truly need to want to be better. If you don't want to be better, you're not going to be able to find joy in pushing yourself. So think to yourself right now, do I want to be better? And if you made it this far in the video, you want to be better. So find joy in pushing yourself, and that will make it infinitely easier to choose the delayed gratification activity. Because by finding joy in pushing yourself, you have joy in the process of actually pushing yourself to delay gratification. The second tip to stop chasing instant pleasures and prioritize delayed gratification over instant gratification is to remember why you're doing this. Remember your higher purpose, your self-fulfilling purpose over your lower desire, your lower inclination, your lower instant want. Remembering why you're actually delaying gratification. And if you don't have a reason why, find a reason why. And a video on that called Enact Your Calling is coming soon. If you're not remembering your reason why, then it becomes harder to act. Clarity breeds action, because once you know what you're working towards or what you need to do to achieve that, it becomes infinitely easier to push towards that. So by remembering your why, you give yourself some clarity on the reason for your delaying gratification. By remembering your why, you give yourself a reason to delay gratification. Instead of just, some guy on YouTube told me, no, this matters to me. I need to do this because it's good for me and I want to achieve this. So if I want to achieve this thing, for instance, becoming fit and building an aesthetic body. If I want to become fit and building an aesthetic body, I'm not going to indulge in eating bad food. For instance, going to the store and getting some candy, or if someone offers you something, you're going to say no, because you have this higher purpose or higher goal in mind that you're remembering of building an aesthetic body, which will trump any sort of instant pleasure that you can get from eating any sort of fast food. Because you know achieving this purpose will make you feel good in your soul and not just on your tongue. Something that helps me remember my why and all my actions is writing out tons of reasons why I'm doing this. Every single morning, I wake up, write my gratitude, write my daily, monthly, weekly goals, and then I rate my reason why. Because this really helps you just lock in full tunnel vision on what you want to achieve. The third way to stop chasing instant pleasures and prioritize delayed gratification over instant gratification is to tune your environment for that purpose. Tune your environment for your why. Continuing the example from the last tip, if you want to build an aesthetic body, it will be much easier to do so in a house filled with good food compared to a house filled with shitty food. If you want to eat good whole foods, don't have chips right next to them. If you want to cook, don't have microwavable food in your freezer next to the food that you would cook to build your aesthetic body. Basically, just tuning your environment plays a big part because it makes everything easier. It's easier to push yourself when you have an environment that is indicative of pushing yourself. If you can work out from home, it'll be much easier to get yourself to just do a couple of sets and push yourself and eventually do a full workout than it would be if you had to go for a 20-minute drive to the gym, which I know is extreme, but you get what I'm saying. Basically, your environment allows how much you can apply these other tips, and to whatever extent you can, tune your environment. That's it for this video. If you want me to expand on this topic one-on-one with you, sign up for one-on-one self-improvement coaching. It could just be a 30-minute call for $15. I can get on a call, I can talk to you about this or whatever issues that you're having on self-improvement, and then write you a plan to help you overcome that issue. Or if you want a closer connection or a more long-term accountability buddy type thing, who is also coaching you through the process, you can sign up for a 1-month coaching program, which is $50. On this, I'll have 3 video calls with you a week, just checking up on your progress, what's next, tuning the plan so you can be better Go sign up for one-on-one coaching to be better and improve with me. Now subscribe, then get off YouTube. Stop indulging in this instant gratification entertainment and do like 20 push-ups or something.